Well, hey there, cats and kittens. My name is Alonda Carter, and I am the Recovering Hunbot, and I create anti-MLM, that's anti-multi-level marketing videos, and I also, on occasion, do dip my toes into true crime. But if you really think about it, isn't multi-level marketing criminal? Well, today we are going to take a look at a company that has created an interesting product. Let me ask you something. Okay, I cook a lot. I don't know about you, but I do cook a lot, but I don't have like a bazillion different, I don't know, just, whatnots in my kitchen. I have like a bullet, and I have like a hand can opener, not an electric one. And I mean, I have a coffee pot, well, a Keurig or whatever, but I don't have a bazillion things is my bottom line. So do you have a whole lot of different appliances that you pull out and that you use on the regular, or do you have some of those things and, you thought you were going to use them once upon a time, but now maybe you don't really use them the way that you thought that you would? I ask you this because today's video is about this multi-purpose kitchen appliance thing. And to me, when I look at it, the only thing that goes through my head is back in the day, it was very popular to get a bread machine. And I remember my mom got a bread machine and it made some really good bread, but she also had, other things. And she was a real nut for, kitchen gadgets. I never have been. But I thought about that because when I look at this thing, I'm like, wow, it's like, would I actually use this? Probably not. But could I see that other people might be sold on the idea because it's going to save them time and they can get rid of all these other things? Yeah, that I can believe, because let's just face it, we often buy all kinds of things that we think is a really good idea, and then all of a sudden it ends up not being, that hot. Now, just so you know, I'm still recovering from when I went into the hospital. That's why I have the bruises on my neck, because, when you go into the operating room, how they have to like hook you up to different stuff. And whatever that thing is called, anyway, I had one in my neck, and I'm on blood thinners, and I bruise like really super easily now. And so I just have like bruises all over me. No, I've not been beaten up or anything like that. It is from when I went into the hospital, and I will be doing a video on that whole ordeal when I'm just like mentally prepared to do so. And I'm really not prepared to talk about that right now. So I wanted you to just know that. Don't look at me and be concerned that like, oh my gosh, what's happened to you? It's because of a hospital visit. And nope, it was not COVID. So when I look at this machine, I just think, wow, that's really expensive. And, if I'm going to spend this kind of money on something, I'm thinking, you know what? You better clean my house. You better wash my car. You better do my laundry. You better do a whole lot of things for me. I'm just not so sure if I would use this, even if it wasn't MLM, you know. I don't think I would see this somewhere and be like, oh my goodness, this is a must have. To me, it's just, it seems just like an odd product. And maybe that's just me. Maybe you will have different feelings about it. Now, just so you know, I don't want anybody sending any hate to anyone who's in multi-level marketing or who is connected to the MLM that I'm going to be talking about or anything like that. That is not the point of this. I am critiquing an industry that I find to be problematic, as well as, you know, people who create these kind of companies. It's so hard for me to say that, you know, because to me, none of it feels very legit because it all depends upon endless chain recruitment. And it just makes me itch. It just does. But anyway, and don't send hate to people because no one needs all of that. This is really more about like, is this sustainable? Because I don't think so. And if you've been watching any of my videos or anybody else in the anti-MLM community who creates content here on YouTube, it becomes very obvious really fast that people can't make a livable wage just selling the products. It's all based on recruitment, 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 and then some more recruitment. Also, be sure to be kind to each other in the comment section and be kind to me because there's really just, you know, no reason to be nasty because this is not about, you know, hating on people who join multi-level marketing companies. I mean, I'm a former Hunbot myself, hence Recovering Hunbot, but I don't want people, you know, just attacking others because really that is not going to help them. And that really does make people kind of like dig their heels in more. I mean, think about it. I can remember when like I was a teenage girl and, you know, I dated someone that my mom just, you know, she just wasn't keen on. And if she said anything to me, what did I do? I'm like, well, I'm just going to prove you wrong. It's the same kind of thing when it comes to multi-level marketing. It's just within our nature. It's like, oh, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to just go harder at it. So when you approach people like that, it doesn't do any good. I just really always suggest that people, you know, approach people with kindness. The contents of this video is based on my experience, research, and opinions. Now let's get to it and let's check out this particular MLM and what is being offered. Vorwerk was founded in 1883 by two brothers, Carl and Adolf Vorwerk. Initially, the company sold carpets and upholstery fabrics. The brothers parted ways and Carl continued to run the business. Carl's son was to be his successor, but he died shortly after taking over the company. His son-in-law, August Middleton Sheed, became the sole managing partner of Vorwerk. Vorwerk began to diversify product offerings such as manufacturing electric motors. In the 1920s, radio grew in popularity and the sale of the gramophones the company had been producing declined sharply. The next product the company started selling was a high-performance upright vacuum called the Vorwerk Cobalt. During World War II, Warner and Eric Middleton, August's sons, took over. Up to the 1960s, Vorwerk focused on vacuum cleaners, carpets, and upholstery fabric sales. In 1971, the Thermomix food processor was introduced. Then in 1974, the Vorwerk fitted kitchens came into the marketplace. In 2001, the company purchased the Lux Asia Pacific Sales, which described itself as a luxury beauty and lifestyle brand for the Asia Pacific customer. In 2002, Vorwerk introduced Felina, an ironing system. In May of 2004, the American cosmetics company Jafra Cosmetics was acquired by Vorwerk. In 2017, Vorwerk acquired a robotic vacuum manufacturer. Today, Vorwerk operates in roughly 60 countries around the world, including Australia and the US. The hallmark product of Vorwerk today is Thermomix, an all-in-one kitchen appliance that costs roughly $1,500. And like I said, for that price, it better clean my house, wash my car, and do a whole bunch of other things. According to their website, their products stand for innovation and quality. Direct sales of premium products is Vorwerk's core business. During a personal demonstration, customers come to recognize the exceptional quality of the products. Depending on the product group and local differences, Vorwerk practices different forms of direct selling. The benefits are clear. For customers, there's the opportunity to convince themselves of a product's quality and performance during a personal demonstration in their home. For advisors, direct selling represents an attractive work and income opportunity that offers them maximum flexibility in a dynamic growth market. You can become a Thermomix consultant, and according to their website, you could discover the advantages of working independently, promoting this innovative, multifunctional kitchen appliance, which is used and loved by so many people all over the world. Becoming a Thermomix consultant is all about having access to a Thermomix TM6. You can earn one of these, you can buy one, or if you already have one sitting in your kitchen, you can use that. To earn one of these machines, all you have to do is close 6 sales within 60 days, and boom, the machine is yours. Now, I did come across several different prices for their quote starter kit, ranging from $49, $99, $129 to $350. Now, the thing is, I couldn't find anything on their income, like an income disclosure statement. I couldn't find anything on their compensation plan. I couldn't find anything on what their ranking system is. And I suspect the only way you can find out about that is if you're like, ooh, I'm interested in joining, and then, the pearly gates open, so to speak. I presume the more you spend on the starter kit, the more you get. The only way to get one of these machines is through another consultant, which to me is a huge red flag. And honestly, it reminds me a lot of Enagic. Enagic is an MLM that has like this water filtration system. I have an entire playlist on that, and it's very pricey too. So it's just kind of like, ringing some bells about Enagic, because all of these companies want you to think that, they're so innovative and they're so different. And they're not. There's always something else that's very similar in terms of how they, do the compensation plan, what the price point is, the type of product. They're not all that, in my opinion. For every Thermomix machine you sell, you earn $220 in commission. Once you sell 5 in a month, you earn $380 for each machine. So doing the math, that means if you sell 4 machines, that's a whopping $880. Now, if you sell 5 machines, that's $1,260. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine selling one of these, much less 5. And, thinking I'm going to be able to somehow, support myself on this, because let's face it, when it comes to multi-level marketing, they're all about quitting that job, that just over broke. You're a loser if you work for some company. Be independent, work for yourself. You're a hashtag boss babe by selling something that another company has created, and you're an unpaid sales force. Got it? So I found, as I was doing my research, a consultant who made $5,500 in a month only because she sold 13 machines. But do you think she could do that month after month after month? I mean, I would find that really, really, really hard to believe. But the thing is she also had to follow up on all of those little, demonstrations she did. She had to make phone calls to all the people who attended, because of course she's trying to do what? Shill one of these machines. So there's the back and forth, leaving a message. Somebody may be calling them back again, because you got to keep on following up, because, oh my gosh, the fortune is in the follow-up. And then what this person discovered is that there were a number of broken machines that, when she was calling on all of this. And so to her, it was like this opportunity, it just was a lot of trouble, and it really wasn't worth doing all of this. But overall, like any other MLM, you earn more when you build a team. Now, how that exactly works in terms of the percentages that you get, like I said, that's under lock and key, which is another red flag to me. Another former consultant said she ended up not making any money because by the time she bought all these ingredients for the demonstrations and, the gas to go to each household, her accountant just kind of like, looked at her about like what you're spending versus what you're bringing in. You didn't make anything. So that would be really, really disheartening to think that you're working so hard and in the end, you're not making anything. Now, to sell these things, like I've mentioned, you have to book cooking demonstrations. You can't call them parties. No, 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 no. Although this entire little ordeal here, this MLM, to me, it looks very much like a party MLM because of the whole, booking at someone's home and then inviting people over to it. You need to have at least 4 of these demonstrations each month. And there must be at least 3 different households at each of the demonstrations you book. Each of these demonstrations takes about 2 hours to do. However, you spend about an hour in addition to that doing all this food prep before you arrive at the household. You also can only cook approved recipes, and you're encouraged to serve food on green plates to match the brand's colors. So now you have to like run around to the grocery store, get all of these things and, cut things up and do all of that just to have a demonstration. Also, you must wear a dark green apron with the company logo that comes in the starter kit. So who foots the bill for the food you're cooking? Well, guess what? It's not going to be Vorwerk. It's going to be you. That means you need to subtract whatever you're spending on the food you cook from the profits you're making. So you see why that person really wouldn't make any money because of all the stuff she's having to buy to then, schlep over to someone's home to have one of these demos, AKA parties. I mean, to me, all of this, it doesn't sound sustainable whatsoever. In addition to the machine, there are other categories of products, including parts of the machine, recipes, cookbooks, and much more. And this really sounds like these are more things for consultants to buy. I don't think there's this huge market. I mean, I've never heard of anybody talking about these machines. So it's just like any other MLM. The market is within the consultants, within the network of the people involved in Vorwerk, in my opinion. Now, if somebody wants some kind of machine that does it all for them, I mean, go for it. Just don't do it if that thing is connected to multi-level marketing, network marketing, pyramid selling, direct sales, whatever kind of name you want to slap on it, because the business model just stinks. I could not find anything forward-facing about the ranks or what it takes to be active, but it looks like from what I've seen that to be active means that you are having these 4 parties at least. And I also did come across something that basically if you don't start selling, you get kicked out. Now, if you know more about Vorwerk, let me know in the comments exactly how that works, because it's like everything is just so secretive, and with all this secrecy, it just makes me side-eye it even more. Now, like I said, this really seems to be like a party plan MLM, because you are contacting someone to host one of these events, and you're expecting the guest to spend money, and then you as the host, you get rewards for people like spending. So you get like a little budget based on whatever they spend, which is all very typical of a party plan MLM. Now, I'm going to issue a trigger warning because there are going to be some graphic images from people who were injured from Thermomix machines. Team Thermomix was fined $4.6 million for failure to report burns caused by their top machine. This occurred within Australia in 2016. There were 87 burn incidents that were reported. In my opinion, with anything, if you try to be everything to everyone, you become nothing to no one. And that's what I think of with these machines that are trying to do a bazillion different things for the kitchen. It's like you're trying to do everything, and then you end up doing nothing because you're just like overly complex. I'm just saying, to me, just overly complex. And then I'm like really, really concerned that if this has happened before, that people were injured, could it happen again? I don't know, but it makes me uncomfortable. Now, I did find the Thermomix machine on Amazon, and as you can see, there are other all-in-one kitchen appliances on the market, so there's no need to get anything that's associated with MLM. I get the concept of, look, you can cook something and you can get rid of all these other appliances and just have one to do it, but I look at it, it's like, this thing is flipping huge. And frankly, if I want to make a smoothie, I'm just happy to pull out my little bullet and make my dang smoothie. I don't want to drag out this enormous machine to make a simple smoothie. Maybe that's just me. I did come across in an anti-MLM group people talking about this machine, and people who had it were just in love with it. But the interesting thing is that they bought it before they knew what multi-level marketing was. And it's like, now that they know what it is, they're not so keen on it, but they like the machine. So they're, it just seems a real conundrum to me. And overall, I just side eye the concept of this all-in-one machine. It makes me just uncomfortable. It kind of sounds, too good to be true. And you know what they say, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And I just keep thinking, like, if you buy an exercise bike or something and it sounds really like a good idea and you're all into it, well, this machine, people probably get it and they're like all into it and they're making everything. But after a while, I think that novelty wears off and it just becomes a dust collector. From my research, there are people who have it and just love, 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 love it. And to me, that's really not very different from any of the other Huns for anything else. They believe in the dream and that they're selling this product is their ticket to financial freedom and time freedom. But is it? How much freedom do you have when you have to book these demos and then you have to follow up with people and you have to chase after more people to host more demos? I mean, it really sounds like a lot of work for not a lot of return on your investment. And for the money you can earn, it just, it doesn't seem to really weigh out. It seems to be, you just kind of get in debt with it, in my opinion. That's what's kind of going off in my head. Now, I really want to know, what do you think about this? Is this something, if you saw it, would you think, oh, I got to have this? Or would you think, why would anybody want this? I mean, for me, that's kind of where I'm going. Why would somebody want something like this? I mean, honestly, this has to be one of the odder looking products that I've seen in MLM shilling. Now, I haven't looked into like the cosmetics line or the vacuum line and stuff like that, because this company is more diversified and I'm not sure if those things are also attached to an opportunity or not. But I was just kind of mesmerized with this whole concept of this machine, because I can really see people who are manipulated into joining and come to believe that it is the best thing since sliced bread. They're going to be all excited about it. But how can you get other people excited about something that costs so much money? And aren't people a little bit concerned that you can't find out anything anywhere about the compensation plan? I mean, I'm supposing that when you go to one of these demonstrations and then they're going to tell you, oh, you too can sell these and you can make some extra money on the side, all that crap, that they kind of go over it at that time. But why can't you find something more straight up that tells you about it? Because typically when I'm researching an MLM, I find that stuff, but this just seems to be, a hidden treasure. Anyway, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. And remember, you're beautiful and I love you.